Hey guys, so when I was at Iowa, I also met up with EDgun, and I have this distinguished honor to be able to test one of his guns. So he sent me one of his guns, and I think that judging by the size of this package, you can guess what it is. So let's take a look at it. Yes, it's Leshiy. Now, I've never had an experience to have or test a gun that is that small and that compact. So this is only 1.4 kilos, so extremely lightweight and very sturdy. I must say, this feels like it's extremely rigid, and it is very rigid. Everything is so tight on this gun. I like that very much, and it's still foldable, and you can carry it on your backpack or whatever. It's really small and tiny. And first, when I saw this gun on the internet, I liked it immediately, but being such a simple gun, it's still packed with features which are quite interesting, quite surprising. So I won't do any shooting in this video, because I'm still waiting to get a riser, so higher mounts for the scope, because all of my mounts are very low, and this gun needs quite a high scope. After that I will also make a video for accuracy. So right now I will only go through features what this gun can offer. So first I would like to mention that you can choose from 3 different calibers, so 177, 22 and 25. Over here right now I have the barrel inside for 22, but EDgun also sent me a 25 caliber barrel. So this is 25, I think. Yeah, it should be 25 for sure. So this is the barrel. It's actually very short. I think it's 25 centimeters or something like that. And the EDgun also sent me a longer, also 25 barrel. So same barrel, only longer. I think this one is 35 centimeters. Let's measure that. So yeah, 35 is the longer barrel, and 25 is the short. Yeah, correct. Now the whole gun is, as I said, extremely short. So if you have a shorter barrel installed inside, it's about 43.5 centimeters, and folded it's about 35.5 centimeters. Very short. Sorry guys, I only have metric, so centimeters, I don't have inches, so, but you can calculate that from the info I gave you. So let's go to the features. Okay, so first of all, as you probably already know, it's a single shot. So what you do is break it, and then put a pellet inside in the back. So this is actually already the barrel. I'm sure if you can see that, but you can see through it now that it's empty. So you put the pellet in, close it, and take a shot. Now when you if you fully fold it, then the safety automatically engages. But if you but of course when you put it to fire, then you can pull the trigger. It's relatively quiet. It has its well-known offset moderator, so it's quite quiet. And also, maybe a very nice thing about it, I like that this is actually a monolith construction. So the whole part except for the cylinder in the back. So this is actually the cylinder, the stock is actually the cylinder, is from one aluminum piece, everything. That's very nice. In the cylinder, of course, you have the regulator. The regulator is set to 120 bars, and the maximum fill pressure, which is done, so the filling is done here. This is the port for the filling. Hopefully you can see that. It can fill up to 300 bars, as is common for EDgun guns. You have the gauge in the back side. This gauge is actually very accurate. I like that very much. And you have this nice butt pad. This is, let's say, the only plastic parts are the butt pad, and the grip and the trigger guard. These are the only parts that are made out of plastic, but it's some sort of hard plastic, so it doesn't feel some, let's say, a cheap hollow thing. In the back you have the option to put it on a sling, so basically you can hook the gun up to anything here and carry it either on this or use it for whatever you need, but it's quite a nice feature. A nice thing also is when you break it and then when you close it fully, it automatically engages the safety. So this is the safety, it engages here, and when you press it fully in, it engages the safety. So now the gun is automatically on safe. And also a nice feature is over here there's a magnet, and there's another magnet over here, and as soon as you fold it fully, it actually will stay that way. So it doesn't, if you move it a lot then it will, but otherwise it's pulling it together. So that's also quite a nice feature. If we look at the back side, so as I mentioned before, this is the barrel hole. This is the mechanism that keeps the gun locked when it's in battery. And this is actually the hammer. Also already inside you can see it, and on the other side you can see the transfer port and the seal around it. And you can see over here this brass part is actually also already the valve mechanism, so the pin in the side of this brass is the valve stem, which the hammer hits in order to open the valve. So very simple system, very reliable. And what I found quite surprising is that, well, of course I forgot to mention, so over here is the hammer, and on the front side you actually have an option to adjust the hammer tension. So over here there's a screw which you can access with an Allen key. You need number 6, so 6mm Allen key. You can get the Allen key, and then you have discrete selection for the power. So it's not just a screw that you screw into whatever position, but it has discrete positions, so you can repeat the power settings, so you know exactly where you were. And pay attention that when you screw it in, you're actually reducing the power. So if you turn the Allen key clockwise, you decrease the power, or if you turn it anti-clockwise, you increase the power. And from what I tested so far, I haven't done that much tests yet, but about 2 turns is all you need to get from minimum power to maximum. And for minimum power, it's in 22 caliber with the short barrel, which I have inside now. You can get as low as about 12 foot-pounds, maybe a little less, I'm not sure. I think I got 175 meters per second, or even less, with the JSB jumbos. And I tested also the maximum power, which is what I'm usually interested in, and with the longer barrel, so the 35 centimeter, and I actually got 60 joules. I couldn't believe it. With JSB King Heavies, I was able to get about 240 meters per second. So that's impressive for 35 centimeter barrel. The shot count will get very low if you do that. Of course, you will get at the time I didn't have my tank full, so I had about 200 bars. So with 200 bars you will get about 5 shots, which is still not that bad. But if you charge it to 300 bars, you should get still about, I don't know, 12, 15 shots with the 60 joules, which is for this cylinder very, I mean a lot. That's, of course, the cylinder is very small. You have to consider that over here is the filling port, and over here somewhere where the cylinder actually starts, and over here probably somewhere is already a regulator. So this is the only room you have for high pressure air, so for the pressure that you put in. And over here, from here on, it's regulated, so this, you cannot count this one when you shoot down. You shoot down towards that pressure from higher pressure. So you should shoot from, you should fill it up to 300. You can fill it, of course, a little less. You will have less shots then, of course, but you can fill it less. But you should shoot down up to 120 bars, and at that point you should stop, otherwise the velocities will start to drop. So maybe another interesting thing is that how this gun actually cocks the hammer. So this is actually the hammer. It strikes towards the back, so it moves that way when you pull the trigger. So let me, maybe just an interesting thing is how to decock it. You have two versions of how you can decock it. First, put it off safe, and then just put your thumb here. I can do that because I have big hands, maybe you can't, but you can put another thumb. And then pull the trigger. It will just slap you a little bit on your thumb. If you're sensitive, then you can have, you choose another option how to decock, and that would be, for example, okay, now it's cocked. And now it's off safe. What you can do is fold it almost all the way, not fully because otherwise the safety will engage. And then just pull the trigger and hold the trigger. Sorry, I engage the safety. So pull the trigger and then just return it to its original state. So now it's decocked. So this is two options, but if you want to do it fast, then you can just put the finger here and pull the trigger. And maybe if some of you who are really strong, you can also cock it this way, but it's very stiff, it's very hard. So the hammer spring is very stiff and it has a very short pull, which is good because that way you get a big efficiency, you don't use too much air. And so maybe that's not the best way. So the best way is just to break it and then straighten it to cock it. Okay, so let's move to the trigger. The trigger is non-adjustable and it only has, so it's single stage. It is very light, I like that very much, and it's very crisp and it breaks quite clean. But the only downside of it, and that's the only thing I don't really like about this gun, is that, for example, it's like this. I'll show you. So now it's cocked. It's ready to fire, and now I can start to pull the trigger, and if I decide to stop, I can. So I pull it partially, but the trigger will not reset, will not go back to its initial position. It will stay that way. So now I have a shorter pull in order to finish pulling the trigger. So I did it some more, and now it went off. So it will surprise you. So it is a good trigger, but I don't like it because if you start pulling it and there's a certain amount of pull necessary to fire, and it's all second stage, so it's all the same force needed to get to that point when it just surprises you and fires. And I don't mind that it has only one stage and the whole stage is the same weight and then it surprises. That's fine with me. But I don't like it that if you let go while you were already pulling it for a while, it won't return to its initial position. So that's maybe the only downside I can say about this gun. Okay, what's next? Yeah, we will change the barrel later on. Maybe I would like to mention regarding noise. Now it's without the pellet, so of course it's much louder than if I put the pellet inside. But it is very quiet if you don't go too high with the power. That's normal. That's with every gun. But with this gun, it's and this is physics. You cannot do anything about it. The dampening system, the moderator is working perfectly. This barrel is short. So with short barrel you have to work much harder in order to get the noise down, because the pellet gets outside of the barrel and there's still a lot of pressure behind it. And of course, if you go with extremely high power, like I did with almost 60 joules, then it gets quite loud. It's not a very quiet gun. But the interesting part is that it actually recoils extremely a lot, and I mean recoil as in recoil from the pellet accelerating, not a recoil like you have on Springer air guns. So it's a nice type of recoil, the one you want to have in a high power air gun, because it's so light, of course, because this is only 1.4 kilo, and compared to other guns which are at least 2 times heavier, you get 2 times more recoil, so you feel more recoil. And this is quite nice, actually. I like that, because it makes you feel like you're holding something, and it is something powerful in your hands. And again, for 35 centimeters in 25 caliber, getting 60 joule is quite impressive with 120 bars. So I cannot tell you anything. I cannot tell you a lot about accuracy yet, because as I said, I'm waiting for the higher mount. So actually, I will have a riser to rise for my regular mount, the rails. But I did tested it a bit with a very cheap scope. And this is an eBay scope that is about 40 euros. Very cheap, very poor quality. But just for a test, it's the only scope that actually fitted on this gun from what I have at home at the moment. And I did shoot at 25 meters with semi-rest, only front side rest, so it's not the best rest. And I did get a good group, so I don't doubt that it will be a good shooter, a very accurate gun. But wait for a second video where I will show you just how accurate it is. I will try at short ranges and also at longer ranges. I will try with different powers, and I'm hoping for good results. Okay, so I think I should go to show you how you change the barrel. It's actually the mechanism how to do that is really nice. So if you're changing for the same barrel length, then you don't need anything else than an LNT, which is, I believe, 4mm. Let's check. Yeah, it's 4mm, and you need another barrel, of course. But if you want a longer one, then EDgun will send you this additional longer tube, because of course if the barrel is longer, you want to also make the shroud or the moderator longer in order to dampen the noise down again, and this spacer to hold in place the moderator, so the baffles inside the moderator. So what you do is unscrew the cap. And before I mention the parts that are made of plastic, so you have an O-ring here and a plastic, oh shit, I lost an O-ring. Let me go find it. Found it. So O-ring and this plastic baffles, which is a single part. Okay, so you put that outside. And now the barrel is already seen in the gun. Probably cannot see it now. But all you have to do is loosen up these 2 screws, which actually hold also in place the magnet for the folding. So you don't have to unscrew them fully, just loosen them up. And then open the gun. And just push the barrel through. Falls right out. That's the barrel. And then you put another barrel in. I will put now the longer barrel just so you see also how the barrel, a longer one is assembled. So actually the moderator is differently assembled. So you put it in. You can press it up to some flat surface here, so you make sure that it's in the correct place. And then all you do is tighten those 2 screws. That's it. Okay, and you can see that this barrel, because it's longer, protrudes almost outside of this moderator part. So what you do is thread on this additional extension, put in the spacer, and then put in, as it was before, the baffles and an O-ring on top, and then just screw the cap on to this extender. That's it. The gun is already operational. Safety. Okay, so now I have 35 centimeter barrel and 25 caliber in a couple of minutes. Well, actually, it's probably about 1 minute, not no more. So that's about it. I didn't fully disassemble this gun. I don't see any need to do that. I mean, the regulator is set to the perfect pressure. The shot count is quite high if you don't get with your power too high. And the noise level also is relatively low. Also, again, if you don't put the power too high. And that's about it. So watch my next video in which I will show you the accuracy of this gun. Yeah, small thing. You can shoot like a pistol with one hand. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and see you next time. Bye.